This is gonna be my time. Time to taste the fruits and let the juices drip down my chin. I proclaim this the Summer of George!
Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, presented by Bolen Media. I am Ross Bolen, and this weekend confirmed that Jose Altuve is still daddy to the entire New York Yankees organization. Carlos Correa is their uncle. The Houston Astros took 2 of 3 games in their series against the Yankees in New York over the weekend, an extremely important series win, considering the surging Seattle Mariners are now right on our ass, just right on our ass. It's getting uncomfortable. And considering it was a tough start to the month of August, getting swept by the Boston Red Sox, we really needed to gain some momentum before facing the Red Sox again. So 2 series wins against the Marlins and the Yankees on the road are just what we wanted to see. Jose Altuve started the scoring in Game 1 with a 2-run first-inning ding-dong inspired by the boos of bleacher creatures, which basically set the tone for the entire series. There are few things more fun as a Houston sports fan than Altuve on the road taking a pitcher deep on the first pitch of an at-bat with a background soundtrack of opposing fans' boos. Damn near poetic stuff. The Astros would fail to score again until extras, where in the 10th they got an RBI out of Carlos Correa and 2 more in the form of a 405-foot Taylor Trammell bomb driving in Yanier Diaz for some insurance. It was glorious. Damn near a playoff atmosphere. The only team I enjoy beating more than the Yankees is the Dodgers, so this was a great fucking Friday night. Altuve turning the boos into sighs in the first, and Correa breaking the tie in the 10th before Trammell goes yard to put the nail in the coffin. Chef's kiss. On the pitching side of things, Hunter Brown went 16 outs, giving up 2 earned runs with 5 Ks. Then Sousa, Abreu, and Hader held it down the rest of the way. Josh Hader actually closed the door in the 9th and the 10th, which was a bit of a risky move that paid off for Joe Espada, considering it made Hader unavailable for Saturday, and then, thankfully, he wasn't needed on Sunday. Things got a little dicey there in the 10th, but Hader eventually closed the door. Astros win 5-3. We had Framber Valdez on the bump Saturday afternoon for Game 2 of the series, and Framber couldn't find the strike zone with his curveball to save his life. Now, that being said, even bad Framber, without his usually dominant control, is better than 95% of starting pitchers in this league. He secured just 1 strikeout across 17 outs of service, giving up 8 hits and 4 earned runs, but still kept the Stros within striking distance despite his struggles. You have to hand it to Framber for battling on a day he clearly did not have his best stuff. Jeremy Pena homered in the first. Correa drove in Jesus Sanchez in the 4th. Then, in the top of the 8th, Altuve drove in Cam Smith, and Christian Walker did what his last name implies and walked to score Jesus Sanchez and tie the game. But 2 things went wrong here, okay? 2 things. 1, the Astros stranded way too many base runners in crunch time, particularly in the top of the 8th where they had the bases loaded. And then 2, Brian King, in relief, made the mistake of trying to quick pitch Trent Grisham and his sunglasses in the bottom of the 8th, which seemed to really piss Grisham off because he obliterated a full count fastball into the second deck immediately afterward, giving the Yankees a 1-run lead the Astros failed to recover from in the 9th. That sucked. Note there for Brian King, don't fucking do that again. Do not mess with that guy and his shades. Big mistake. Between the Yankees' errors and the Astros stranding base runners, this felt like a game we let go. One we should have won. It sucks, but it happens, and you move on to the next one. Astros go down 4-5 in Game 2. In Game 3 on Sunday afternoon, the Summer of George continued with Jason Alexander going 6 innings on the mound without giving up a single run and just 1 hit. Can't say enough about Jason Alexander, a.k.a. George Costanza, and the way he has stepped up as the Astros wait on more pitchers to return from the IL. He's had a couple rough patches, to be sure, but the last couple starts, when we arguably needed Alexander the most, he was nails. 2 consecutive starts for Jason Alexander, going 6 innings without yielding a run. The summer of George! Stop me if you've heard this before. But Jose Altuve once again homered in the first inning to almost the exact same spot as he did in Game 1. The way Jose torments Yankees fans is truly a thing of beauty. The Astros also got runs out of Christian Walker with an RBI in the 3rd. Cam Smith drove in 2 runs in the 5th. Correa homered in the 9th. Urias singled, and I'm doing air quotes here if you're listening on podcast platforms, he singled into center to drive in Altuve, and Dubon drove in Christian Walker. I would also note Carlos Correa did the do not rip off my shirt celebration, the Altuve celebration, rounding 3rd after his ding-dong, and I desperately need that to become a regular thing. Please, Carlos, continue to do that celebration. It was brilliant. I missed it in real time, but caught it on social media. Oh, also, Aaron Boone got ejected in the 3rd inning, which you absolutely love to see. Astros win the game 7-1 and win the series 2-1. Altuve hits his 250th homer, making him just the 11th second baseman to reach that mark. Correa continued to roll since returning to the Astros. He also looks sharp at 3rd. Christian Walker keeps heating up. Cam Smith seems to be awake again. Urias made multiple incredible plays at second base. Jesus Sanchez continues to contribute since joining the team. All good things. Can't say enough about Urias and his defense at second base, by the way. If you didn't catch either of those plays, Google Urias Yankees highlights or something. Unfortunately, the Seattle Mariners swept the Rays over the weekend to make it 7 wins in a row and 9 of their last 10. The Mariners now sit just a half game back of the Astros and now hit the road for a 3-game series against the Orioles as we head back to Houston for a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Goes without saying, but this is a huge series against the Sox due to the standings. But there's also a lot more to the story. Not only is it the return of Carlos Correa to Daikin Park, technically his first time ever at Daikin Park, we'll also see Christian Javier's first start in over 14 months for Game 1 of this 3-game series tonight, and Alex Bregman's first return to Houston since joining the Red Sox. It is going to be a fun one, no doubt. It's been almost 4 years, over 3 years and 9 months since we saw Carlos Correa in an Astros jersey at our home field, and he has been on fucking fire since rejoining the good guys. He's batting over 400 with 1,000-plus OPS, has 6 multi-hit games in just 10 days, 2 ding-dongs. It's insane. It's like he never left. We literally could not have asked for a better start to Carlos Correa's return to the Houston Astros, just making Dana Brown look like an absolute genius at the trade deadline. So the first place Astros sit at 66 wins and 52 losses heading into their series against the Red Sox, who have a record of 65 wins and 54 losses and occupy second place in the AL East behind the American League leading Blue Jays. For his first game back, Christian Javier will be facing off against All-Star ace Garrett Crochet. The Red Sox have won 7 of their last 10, or 9 of the last 10, 3 of which were against the Astros in Boston, outscoring opponents by 28 runs in that stretch. So they're hot, okay? They're hot. We're facing their ace. They're bringing our formerly beloved third baseman with them. It's the debut of Carlos Correa and Jesus Sanchez and Ramon Urias in Houston. Christian Javier's first major league start in over a year. So many storylines on what is already a very important 3-game series. And look, we just saw what a pitcher who has been out for an extended period with injury returning to the majors can look like in Spencer Arrighetti with all the rust and the struggling that he had in his first start from the IL. Sometimes it takes these dudes a few starts to get their footing. You have to hope that won't be the case with Christian Javier, as obviously we do not want this huge night and all the positive vibes of winning the Yankees series on the road and the Marlins series combined with everything else that I just mentioned spoiled by an ugly L. We do not want that. Really rooting for Christian Javier to look sharp tonight. There have been multiple points throughout the course of his career with Houston where Christian Javier has looked like he might be the next guy. like a legitimate ace. Like early on, early Hunter Brown, season 1 and 2 Hunter Brown, there were points where I was not as nearly as excited about Hunter Brown as I was about Christian Javier. Like Christian Javier looked like he could be a future Cy Young winning ace for the Astros. He got hurt. Shit happens. Tommy John, 14 months away. It sucks. Really could have used him last postseason, obviously. He's back now. Hopefully we see some good stuff from Christian Javier. El Reptile. El Reptil? I don't know how to say reptile in Spanish, but that is his nickname. The Mariners are surging right now, which is a thing that happens in baseball. Teams go on streaks. They get streaky. And it might feel a little troublesome, but here's the main thing to hold on to. From an injury perspective, this season has been a total clusterfuck for the Stros. Just a disaster in almost every imaginable way. And yet, they're still just 2.5 games back of the American League leading Blue Jays. That's for the best record in the AL. Not first place in the division, the best record in the American League. So even after July was a fucking disaster, there are only 6 teams in baseball with better records than the Astros. And the Astros still lead the Mariners by a half game for first place in the American League West, despite the Mariners winning 9 of their last 10 games. And we just brought Carlos Correa home. We'll literally bring him home tonight. We bolstered the outfield with Jesus Sanchez, and Christian Javier is back, and Spencer Arrighetti is back, and JP France and Luis Garcia should be back later this month, and Yordan Alvarez has been progressing in the cages, and Jake Myers is doing baseball activities and shit, hashtag baseball activities. So regardless of what the Mariners have going on, the key is to continue stacking as many wins as possible while reinforcements continue to roll in. We are only getting stronger right now, right? Presuming that no one else gets hurt, knock on wood, cross your fingers, do a little dance, pray to all the gods you believe in. You get a couple more starting pitchers off the IL, you get Yordan Alvarez and Jake Myers back healthy, suddenly you've got one of the deepest teams in baseball that has weathered an absolute shit smattering of storms over the past couple, over the course of the season on the whole, that is primed to make a playoff run. I say all of that to say, do not get too high or low on whatever happens during this Red Sox series, okay? You really shouldn't be doing that at any point in the season with any one series until things are coming down to the wire with the last month of the season or whatever. We've got 44 games left to go, folks, okay? We got quite a bit of baseball left to play, 44 games. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, the Mariners can't stay hot forever. We've seen them surge the last couple seasons. They never do dick. They're not going to do dick now. The Mariners are frauds. They're fakers. They're not a team to be legitimately scared of. The Rangers fell back a couple more games in the division over the weekend. This is the only dipshit team we need to worry about, the Mariners, and they can't stay this hot forever. They've gone on this incredible 9 of 10 games streak, and they're still not in first while we've been dealing with all the shit we've been dealing with. What does that tell you? This is not a legitimate concern. That will do it for today's show. But remember, we have new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday on youtube.com/@bangingthecan. Share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family. Follow us on social media @bangingthecan on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads, @bangingthecan. Follow us everywhere. Send our clips and our tweets and our reels and our TikToks to your friends and your family. If you're an F1 fan, check out Bolen Media's premier F1 programming, Formula Bone, B-O-N-E, Formula Bone, hosted by Jared J. Bone Borislow, giving you a preview and a recap of every race all F1 season long. You can watch on youtube.com/@FormulaBone. You can follow @FormulaBone on social media. Formula Bone. If you love F1, you will love Formula Bone. If you are a TV and film fan, check out one of my other shows, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. We started out as a Game of Thrones podcast in 2016. We're coming up on year 10 of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles as a show. We most recently covered The Bears Season 4. The rest of the calendar this year is a little bit wide open. We're going to be jumping around to this and that. Might discuss The Gilded Age Season 3 next week, but we're also covering The Wire Season 1 on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles Patreon page right now, which you can check out at patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles if you want to watch The Wire with us. we invite you to do so. And for more from me, you can also check out RBP, otherwise known as the Ross Bolen Podcast, available wherever you get your can banging. I am Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBolen. I will be back Friday to discuss the results of the Red Sox series and prepare for the Orioles series, which is who we have on deck. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.